But this year, I think he's getting another year, though. I think he's going to get another year.
Yeah, medical redshirt, probably, yeah.
Is this the 7th? Will this be the 7th year?
No. He was like a sophomore when we played him in 2021. Something like that. But yeah, I don't know why you bother playing him now. What else?
No Heisman, no. Certainly that's gone. I mean, it was probably gone last week, but
yeah,
gone.
Caleb is, washed. Utah is the one that put the book out on how to defend him, and Notre Dame followed suit this year. Utah obviously had the game plan already in their books. What about the Bama Tennessee? That was a tight game till fourth.
It was. Bama's not Bama. There's
Why
another good
SEC. Did you see Joe Milton running the option? What was that?
They got Joe Milton.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
While the $8 million freshman quarterback has not seen a dime. I haven't seen him play a dime. The people are going to want the return on their investment on those NIL deals. You know what I mean? You get a big booster paying a couple $1 million for a kid, and you got Joe Milton running show to a 9-3 record. People are going to start getting pissed. You know what I mean? Wanting. Hey man, what am I giving you? Why am I giving money out here if my kid's not even going to play?
They already got 2 losses in the SEC, but Milton threw for 271 and 2 touchdowns. I flipped it over right after the Ohio State game, which why did the Ohio State game last until almost 4:00? Honestly, what are we doing? But so I flipped it over after the Buckeye game was over and watched the Bama Tennessee game. I'm like, Joe Milton is running the option, but he's giving like chess passes, like basketball chess passes in the option. I'm like, that's not how it's supposed to work, man.
No. You're doing it wrong.
He's holding it from both ends of the football, like a kid would do,
Right.
Dude, oh fuck. This is not going to go well. And it didn't.
No. But Bama's not special. You know what I mean? Bama's not.
No. Milroe is just a poor man's version of Milton, honestly.
Yeah, probably slightly better with his feet. Probably a little bit more speed. Milton's got a cannon for an arm. He can whip. He can throw that 5-yard out. But they love throwing that 10-yard, 5-yard out at like 98 miles an hour.
Right, through a guy.
Yeah, they can both do that.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Bama doesn't look like Bama, but I still don't like playing Bama. They got dudes.
Yeah, they're going to get better.
They can play with anybody.
They're going to continue to get better. Their defense, especially their secondary, is really fucking good. I mean, that's never going to change, I don't think.
No, they're all 5 stars. I mean, they're not down talent. They're just, it's not. I guess mainly it's just the quarterback. They don't have the Jalen Hurts, the Tua, that they don't have that first round, knockdown quarterback like we don't we don't have a guy that's like the last 3 guys. You can't get.
And I think their lines are a little bit. Their O line might be a little bit like ours too. We're used to Alabama having the best O line in the country year after year after year, and I just don't know if that's the case right now.
They're super young.
They got 5 stars. They got Caden Proctor. They got J.C. Latham. We were in on both those guys. Yeah. Those guys are just not playing well.
And the freshmen.
That's why you need 15 of those guys on your roster, because guess what? They don't all work out. We're finding that out.
Well, J.C. Latham's at least a 2nd or 3rd year guy. Proctor is a 1st year guy. Yeah, but again, to your point, Shawn, I agree. You need some quality depth, and their O-line obviously doesn't have it. But what else? How about Arizona State hanging tough against Washington?
I didn't see the end of that game.
Hangover.
Didn't get to the end of that game. First half though, yeah, that's what it looked like.
Duke, Florida State was the game there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dukey's had them. They were leading at the half, 2017. Then Florida State came out in the 4th.
the final score was not indicative of how that game really went. It was close. It was close till, you know, and Duke fouled up. They could have went for a field goal on 4th and goal with the backup quarterback in the game. They went for it on a horrible pass play with the backup quarterback. You got to get the points there, man. On the road, you got to get the points there. They could have kept it within one score right there.
Especially since I had them with 14 and a half. If there is any other reason, you know, let me know. But Texas had a bit of a nail biter with Houston, H-Town.
H-Town, stay down. Yeah. You're gonna have some of them. I think, you know, we've had some of those where people are, you know, it's 7-0 or 10-7 at halftime. People are like, whoa, what's wrong with Ohio State? They're struggling. Every team in the country's had that game, you know, with an inferior opponent. Except Michigan, I guess.
North Carolina, number 10 team in the country, goes down to unranked vagina.
That I could not believe. I've seen Virginia play a couple of times. There's no talent there, really. I didn't see any talent.
So it tells you that because North Carolina beat some of those other ACC teams, that maybe those other ACC teams are not good at all, like the Canes,
Clemson,
Pitt. Yeah, they haven't played Clemson yet, but they're going to.
Well, Clemson ain't any good. I'm with you. The ACC is trash.
Yeah, I mean that's why I wanted to keep this discussion about ranked teams. That's why I didn't bring up Miami and Clemson.
So I mean, but you're thinking. I mean, Florida State. What does Florida State have left? They got Miami. You know, we need Florida State to take an L.
What was Florida State's good win? They had one early, right?
LSU.
But what's LSU?
Right.
They're 6-2, man.
What's Texas's best win? Bama. Well, what's Bama? You know, Bama's going to end up being probably the SEC West champs and playing Georgia again for the, you know, so. But when
then Texas loses to Oklahoma.
and which Oklahoma nail biter against UCF at home.
Right.
UCF had them on the ropes. So, and UCF's a 500 team, middle of the road.
I don't know if it's NIL or the portal or all of the above or more shit, but college football has become like the NFL where things are kind of evening out. You know what I'm saying? The talent's becoming spread out evenly, somewhat.
Which is good. I like it.
I think it's my theory is kind of it's consolidating but spread out. I think the teams that are going to exist here in 5 years and be in, you know, college football conversations are going to be a more level playing field, NFL-esque. But the UCFs in that, I mean, they may hang on, but I think their talent level will drop off, just like everybody in those other leagues, ACC included. If it's not SEC, Big Ten, I think all the talent is going to keep consolidating there, and it is going to be great football week after week, and not these blowouts.
Yeah, I get your point there, but it's spread out amongst those teams. Whereas, you know, the transfers were all going to the top 5. Now they're going to the top 12 to 15, 20 teams, you know, in those
you're right, Joe. Yeah, well, I think we're all on the same page. It's not so much there's 5 teams that go win the national title, but there's a separation from the maybe 12 to 15. And then there's a huge
tiers.
There's a huge golf.
There are tiers. There are tiers of the top 2, 3, 4, then a drop off to the next 4, 5, whatever.
I think going forward, though, you're going to see, you know, UCF probably has 3 studs on their team, right? They could play in a big time program. And I think going forward, you're going to see more of those guys moving to the top 40 teams, perennial Big Ten SEC teams. And that talent will be consolidated among, you know, that group of 40 or so teams. And I think it'll be good for the competition level.
Dylan Gabriel, perfect example from UCF originally, now playing at Oklahoma. You know, one of the top teams in the country.
And just since UCF is the team we're mentioning, they're positioned well. Look where they're at as far as talent. You know, the basis of talent. There's a huge university, a huge student body, you know, which is grim. They're 50,000+ students. You know what I mean? It's a huge university, and gaining
Are they good
momentum.
for studying
It's, you
abroad?
know,
Yeah.
why study one means study them all? Huh?
Oh, me and Jeff had an awesome brunch today.
Yuli,
He brought the family over here to the beach side, and
little brunch. Yeah, nice. It was real nice.
Yuri, our server Yuri, the Russian guy, definitely
Yeah.
was in the Russian taxi cab company. But Yuri was the best. You barely understand
No.
what he says. Yeah, juice. We had the best drinks too. Hey,
Best.
You had a vodka with that? You get some vodka?
Yeah, that's what he
yeah.
said.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He said, we said,
We-
no, just water. My wife said, just water. He goes, you want vodka in there? And he's like, no, water, please.
You won't know the difference, man.
Dude was great. He
Oh,
hustled,
he
man.
was
He
pumping the
was great.
drinks. He was pumping
Isn't
the
Yuri
drinks
the
too. He's
guy
like,
from Big Lebowski? The nihilist? Isn't that Yuri?
yeah, it could have been. No, this guy was like the Russian guy in Armageddon on the space station.
Oh, yeah.
Picture that crazy guy. That's this guy, but as a server.
And clean.
Oh, that guy.
And clean.
He was.
But yeah, good.
He's like, yeah, a very good espresso martini.
And then Joe's like, he's a martini guy. He points right at me, and I'm like,
Yeah,
he's like, you want?
He's
He
a
goes,
huge.
I
I
make
said, Jeff,
especially for
he's
you.
a huge teeny guy. I make the
Yuri.
vodka in the bathroom, right in the toilet. We also have Hans in the back washing the dishes.
Yeah,
But yeah,
good time this morning. Good time this morning.
eventful. Yeah, yeah. It's probably why I'm tired now.
Dude, I
Worn
fell
out
asleep at the wheel on the way
doing
home.
Russian voices. I was doing a Russian voice the whole time, right to him. I was like, "Hey, number one, Yuri, here's a check, man." But he definitely has a dash cam, guaranteed, on his car. What else we got? 12-10, Minnesota over Iowa. Nobody watched that, I'm sure.
That over under wasn't it? Was it 31?
Yeah,
Was
it was 31.
And it still hit under. Jesus. But there was some controversy in that game. Some controversy in the Iowa Minnesota game.
Yeah.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Iowa. I can't remember exactly, but Iowa got a defensive touchdown return, a return touchdown on defense called back. Very controversial. So
sounds like Penn State.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's sorry. All right, boys. I think we covered all the bases here nationally. Yeah.
Not much else. I mean,
Sparty. Oh, hey, Shawn.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What's happening up in East Landfill?
Oh, I don't know. You guys saw that text I sent with the big, lots of parties. My daughter came home today, actually, from a night of party last night. But that sign that I said, yeah, we had a better sign, but Harbaugh stole it.
Right.
You're going to get. I pretty much think who's that guy running Michigan State right now? Harlan Barnett. He's a bum. There is the whole coaching staff. I mean, if you listen to guys like Valente, who's a homer for Sparty, he's like they're a bunch. The whole staff is grifters. You need to nuke that program, and I would expect you're going to see that. Maybe not quite that bad of a blowout, but moving forward, I think after losing to Rutgers in the way they did, and then this blowout, I don't think there's much fight left in that team. I could see them not winning anymore.
I tried watching the game last night because there was not much else on. Have you guys watched? Have you tried YouTube TV where they give you this the quad box?
Yeah, I do use that sometimes.
But it's always like 3 decent games and then one fucking game out of nowhere. Like last night was Alcorn State. What the fuck? Yeah, Alcorn State.
Because there's rarely 4 good games on at a time.
Yeah, that they have access to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I strictly use YouTube TV as my cable.
Right, me too.
I enjoy it, but I got the 3-screen setup in the room, so I can go quad box on the 70-inch, and then I go game on 55 and a game on the 55. I got 6 going. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, you're right. There's never 6 games good, so usually I just end up going with the three best games.
No, I mean that's I don't know when you could possibly find 6 games worth watching.
I watched the whole the whole second half of the Buckeye game on my phone at my son's football game, and it sucked. I just finished watching it about a half hour ago. Went through it again.
Yeah, Shawn, please give us a quick 30 seconds on your son's football game, please, because that was an interesting conversation we had yesterday afternoon.
Oh, I forget what I told you, but yeah, we played this Canadian team that ran basically triple option on us, and yeah, they spanked us. I don't know what do you want me to go? Worst? Yeah, another beat down for Brother Rice. I don't like to talk about it.
What's that? I can't hear you.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Private. Look it up online.
Private. It's private. All right. Sounds good. Okay. Well, let's talk about the Buckeyes then. Let's get into this Penn State game. Where do you want to start? How about we're going to get to our grades, I promise, and we're going to get to our MVPs, which are definitely not the same as our microscopes from last week.
One of mine is.
Okay, one, yes. But let's start quarterbacks. All right. Who would you rather have, Kyle McCord or Drew Aller as your starting quarterback?
Oh, Kyle McCord, not even close.
Yeah. All right. So make sure you're starting off on the right foot.
Yeah. That question don't deserve no answer.
43% passing by Drew Aller. Wow.
Just like I thought.
After it. Our
right?
secondary was getting after it. I mean, no offense to Drew. I think that kid's going to be good. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to suck. He's, first year starting. He's going to get better.
They hope so.
But I think our D was just the pressure was there. The secondary was playing freaking out of their minds. Everybody, I mean, we'll get to our kids later, but Drew will be okay. I mean, Drew, I think will be, and next year, the year after that, he's going to be a top 4 quarterback in the Big Ten. I think he's going to be a good player. He just ain't quite there yet.
He's got to be able to handle the pressure.
He was thrust into the starting spot maybe a year too early.
Well, remember they played him some in spot duty
yeah.
with Clifford. Yeah, with Clifford last year. So it's not like he came in. He had more experience coming in this year than McCord did. As far as game reps and and that kind of stuff. But it goes back to looking at the Penn State season up till now. They never have really unleashed him because you saw it against us. They don't you can't trust him. He's not accurate enough and he can't handle the pressure well enough.
It really limits their offense though, because we can sell out. We're not afraid you're going to throw it downfield on us. So
we can go man-to-man coverage and bring the house.
Yep. And I think that's a detriment. And maybe it's because Franklin doesn't trust him on that deep ball and the turnovers. And Franklin probably knows. He's like, look, I've got the best or one of the best defenses in the country. What I need you to do, Drew, is not fucking turn it over. Okay?
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly. Yep.
And in that aspect, he protected the ball, didn't make any of those huge costly mistakes. We didn't have a turnover. But they didn't really, they didn't really challenge us to run the risk of a bad pick down the field, or deep ball across the middle. So I think if they would have tried, if they would have said, hey, Drew, we need you now. We're going to start opening this up and start going down the field. We probably would have had a couple picks. So it's like, we're going to make sure you don't turn the ball over because we can't trust you to not. But yeah, we did, as long as we kept, it was from the first drive. I said, if we just keep pressure on this kid, until he can beat us deep or beat us, on a blitz, we got to keep pressuring him. And luckily the coaches agreed with how I was thinking. Thank God. They saw it too from they're like, we just got to keep sending guys, keep getting guys in his face, get him off his mark. And he couldn't hurt us at all. There was no threat at any point in that game. I was just worried about a running back breaking a long run. I was not worried at all. In that passing game, that was
interesting that they went away. They went away from was it Singleton? Started off.
I know he had like he had like a 13-yard run and a 15-yard run or something. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they went away from they actually went away from the entire run game in the second half. Drew Aller should not have had 42 pass attempts.
Well,
That's not
and
their
none of them,
offense.
and it's
No,
42
that's not-
passes. It's 42 pass attempts with none of them being past 15 yards. You know what I mean?
Well,
so like they didn't try,
regardless,
they didn't try going deep, and they went away from the run. They tried the intermediate shit, playing right into our defense's strength. You know what I mean? Like there was no. They should have stayed with the run. I thought they were going to try to do a lot of like what Notre Dame, that power, like Michigan has shown, power run game. Let's out tough these guys. You know what I mean? We got a good defense. We run the ball, control the clock. They were running hurry up a couple drives. Hurrying up and getting off the field real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as the quarterbacks go, Kyle goes 63%. I mean, I know everybody wants to bang on him for that rough second quarter he had, but you got to factor in there were some drops in there. Marv had 2 on one drive.
Marv's got more drops like
yeah.
Actually, this game and the game before than he had all of last year. What's up with Marv dropping the ball?
It's got some, I don't know.
Xavier Johnson had a big third down drop in his hands.
Yep.
The DB got in there. The DB got in there after, but that ball was already coming back out of his hands. That's a catchable ball. It was like a
lot
shallow
of
slant.
Ford's balls are catchable, but they're not where they need to be. The guy still is not pinpoint accurate.
Well, I mean, we're spoiled with CJ. We're spoiled with what CJ
him,
was doing. We were spoiled with that.
Yeah,
CJ's one in a million.
So he started the game. 5 in a row, 5 for 5, started the game, had the
and then 1
second
for 7.
quarter.
Yeah.
Right. 1 for 7. And everybody loves to bang on that because that's what they hear on the TV because Joel Klatt says it. But if you look at the fourth quarter here, he had 8 in a row, 8 completions in a row that led to the touchdown scoring drive. And then so all those 8 were in one drive. He had on a 3rd and 4, he had an 8-yard pass to Marv, then a 16-yard pass on 2nd and 9, then a 9-yard pass that was to Marv, then to Julian for 9, Cade Stover for 30, big play. That's where he mossed that guy down the seam.
Great catch, dude! Great catch.
Yeah.
Over an NFL linebacker.
Yeah. So I know everybody wants to point out the negatives on Kyle, but he ended up with a 63% completion percentage, threw the ball 35 times, completed 22 for 286, a touchdown, no interceptions, and no fumbles. I don't care what you saw on TV. No fumbles.
A blatant hold on the call. I mean, he still gave up possession of the ball. That holding didn't affect him not holding onto the ball, but it was a blatant penalty. It was obvious.
It did actually. He double clutched, Jeff, because Marv was supposed to come open across the middle on like a little drag, and the dude was,
He probably was addressing Marv.
As I said that, I take it back, Joe. You're right. As I was saying it, you're right. He did, because he came off. Marv was his read, and he had to come off of it, and then he had to shuffle.
He double clutched and was fading back. Yeah. So legit call. I'm sorry, Pussycat fans, but that was a legit call, and you can't argue it. Especially when you look at how their DBs were manhandling and undressing Fleming on every pass and everybody else. What about Marv had to come through a pass interference to make a catch? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Then in the fourth quarter, the Big Ten refs decide that they need to be the stars of the show once again and help Penn State get down the field on their last drive.
Yeah, our fuck ups that last drive was their best drive of the day. Was us giving
that was their only third down conversion on that drive, and their only 4th down conversion on that drive. We went
back to back 15-yard personal fouls.
Yeah, come on, man. 1 for 16 to Buckeye D on 3rd down. 1 for 3 on 4th. They had, I think they allowed 16 yards in the second half of total offense to Penn State before that touchdown drive.
Well, I was just watching the thing, and it was before that drive. It was like with 2 minutes and like 40 seconds left. The stat showed up, or maybe it was 3:40. They had 6 yards so far in the half.
Right.
Like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
And then they got that 73-yard drive, which half of that was penalties.
Exactly. They didn't.
And we're playing, and we're playing cushion. You know, we weren't playing the same defense aggressively as we were earlier. We're just, you know, but. You know, like what Urban always said, right? When we need you the most, you played your very best. That's McCord. He struggled at, you know, times of that Notre Dame game. You know, it wasn't always great, but in that, when it crunch time, he delivered on that last drive.
That's what I was going to say. You know, he's been put in 2 tight spots in crunch time now, and for, like you're saying, Joe, for all the things that he does wrong and doesn't look amazing, when it comes down to it and to win football games, the guy's been rock solid.
That fourth quarter, I got his stats
JT
right here.
was like that a lot too, in a different way, different way of doing it. But JT Barrett was the same way.
Fourth quarter, I got it. Kyle's stats: 103 total yards the Buckeye offense put up. Passing attempts 5 of 7 and a touchdown in the fourth. 92 yards passing, and that includes the fucking 2 penalties for 30 yards in that fourth quarter. Those are on the defense, of course, but first downs, third downs, they converted 2 of 4 in the fourth quarter. Only 18 total plays, a 5.7 yards per play average. Did have to kick a field goal. Defense came through with 3 sacks just in the fourth quarter alone. So got it done. Hopefully.
So McCord's better than ours.
Simple way to phrase it. Yeah. What about the running game? Let's talk about running backs. Looked like Chip was going to be the guy to lead off the game, but again, the running game needs a lot of work, man. O-line still has these Jekyll and Hyde kind of scenarios with the O-lineman. Donovan Jackson kills it in one category, pass blocking, or kills it in run blocking, but he can never put the two together week to week.
Like my golf game.
Yeah, well, might not be that bad.
Short
Shawn,
game and that long game. Once in a while I want to look okay, but they're never going to look okay together.
Exactly. As long as you're putting for dough.
Always.
Yeah. But so Chip goes 9 carries, 22 yards, 2.4 average. Mayan actually looked like he had some juice to him when he came in. 24 carries, only 62 yards. That's a 2.6 average. 1 touchdown.
Why are we running? We can't run the stretch play to the boundary with Mayan. It never.
That's never going to go away. You gotta just accept that and move on, man.
No, I'm not accepting that. That not with him. No fucking way.
I'm telling you, Ryan Day is not going to stop running it.
If you're going to run it out there, then give it to X-Man or Mecca when he gets back in or something like that. Mine can't do that play. Not against NFL teams. He can do it against Rutgers probably.
I
just and to me, that's why I texted her in that game. That's why people say we're soft. When it's 3rd and short, we're going to do some stupid ass play instead of playing man ball with you. And it really makes me sad that we just can't impose our will. Saying that though, Mayan was getting, there's no holes there. And there was, I think, a first down and a touchdown where he put in that extra work and grinded for that extra yard to make it happen. So, the guy ran hard as crap, but would we average on the game 1.9? Not acceptable, Ohio State. I know it's Penn State, and that defense is ridiculous. But
sack adjusted 2.3.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get ahead of myself. 2.3. If Woody ain't happy, I happy.
And you know what? And I said,
and five rushes that equaled a first down. And of course, the touchdown.
So do you guys think?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys think that the coaching staff their feeling is we gotta keep Hayden's red shirt available because with our O-line, we don't think Hayden can make any more of an impact than Mayan and Chip. Because I wanted to see Dallin Hayden yesterday.
I know, I was wondering.
And now if they might be convinced that the O-line, regardless of who's in the backfield, the O-line's not going to get a much better, look any better. So that's why they're saying, why burn his red shirt now? Because we don't think he can do anything better. But he produces every time we see him carry the ball.
But the issue, Jeff, is
I don't agree with this keeping the red shirt for this.
The issue is his pass pro. But
I saw Chip train him. I saw Chip whiff completely on a guy. Did not barely get 2 hands on him.
Chip graded out a 0.0 on pass blocking this week.
Like
Lutarski level.
Incomplete.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
I mean, he probably only had that one block, probably that one attempt, and that he barely got both hands on the guy before the guy swim them, and it was in McCord's face. So, like, obviously, he's not executing it any better. But I think Dallin Hayden's a much more explosive running back, and our best running back is not dependable. I love Trey, but you can't count on Trey. It's like a luxury if he can suit up. It's just a luxury. You can't ever count on it.
Between the last 2 seasons, his freshman year played 12 games. Awesome. Yes, that's what we want. But the last 2 seasons, I know it's different issues. Last year was the foot. He had, broken bone in his foot. Nobody knew about
this year?
He didn't.
What is it this year?
It's an upper body injury. This is hockey.
But he was running around there. He was running around last week. Almost.
I know.
Play. And a week later,
he's done the pregame workouts and drills and everything.
Actually, him and Emeka were both suited up, full pads. Yeah, full pads. All looking like they were. Aside from wearing their helmets,
they were to keep Penn State guessing. Honestly, I don't think that was real. Like they were actually.
Yeah, probably. There's probably no thought of either one of them playing. But hey, just go do some warm ups. Up all the way up and questionable game time decision, all that bullshit, right?
So, all right, running game obviously needs work, and that starts up front. Let's talk wide receivers. Harrison, Marv, Maserati Marv, as he's known nowadays, apparently, at least from inside of Gus Johnson's house, carries the team. He carried the team this week, right? I mean, there's no 2 ways about it.
I mean, with McCord. Yeah. I mean, the McCord dropped the balls, and McCord delivered some good balls. Marv.
Yeah, 16 targets, 11 catches, mix in a couple of drops there, which you're going to get with Marv. 162.
But you didn't get that last year. He didn't drop anything last year.
Yeah,
I think like 1 or 2 official drops all of last season.
And we all know
2 or 3 a game now.
I got to check on that.
Yeah, and with his work ethic, we know he's putting in more work than as much or more than anybody else in that program. So it's not a lack of he's taking time off, he's slacking in the reps and in the jugs machine. The dude's
maybe his hands are tired. His hands need a break.
His moves are coming off the line
every fucking day.
We'd be sitting here screaming if they've got a stud receiver and the guy goes off for 11 catches. Like, can we just double team him? I mean, I don't know how Penn State didn't have 2 people on him the entire game.
Well, they also
had
thought
3 drops last year, credited with 3 drops.
Okay. How many did he have this year? 7, 8.
1 second.
I can give you 5 at least that right off the top of my head.
I saw 5 in the last 2 games.
Oh, yeah.
I think there has been 5 the last 2 games.
He's got 5 right now on 2023. Seems low.
I think that's being generous.
But
Maserati tax.
I don't like that. I don't like Maserati Marv. I don't either. I don't like that. Don't
give me that cheap
shit. So the word around social media, depending on where you look, is Maserati Marv and Kyle Honda McCord
Is that what he called him? I missed that.
Yeah. No,
I like
people
that.
were saying that
I like
online. Yeah.
Oh.
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's
Anyways,
nice.
right. So other than that, Cade is still a weapon as established. This is the year of the tight end. Not any news on this show, I'm sure. Goes 4 catches, 70 yards. Moss is some linebacker for a 30-yarder. 4 catches on 4 targets. That's how it's supposed to be done, Marv. Carnell Tate had a beautiful diving catch there for a 15-yarder.
That was a nice.
Yeah.
And
He
the
did
block,
have-
the seal block on Harrison's touchdown.
Yes.
With
That's
Marv,
true.
when Marv caught that across the, Tate held onto his guy, sealed him. Didn't get the hold when Marv hit the corner. He knew when he had to let go to not get the holding penalty, and then shielded the other guy. Yeah. No Brandon Ennis this week though. I don't remember seeing Ennis in at all.
No, you didn't need him. This was a tight game, man. You can't risk putting too many guys in there.
I mean, I just thought with
Tate
Abuka
was
out,
running out of the slot,
there'd be more of a rotation there.
No.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Tate was in the slot more, which is
Right.
nice. The
It shows his
versatility of him.
versatility as a freshman, which is surprising. Most freshmen just learn one position and then their sophomore year they move to the next. So he's working outside, inside, everywhere. So 5 targets, 3 catches for Carnell. Chip had a beautiful catch on that drag route over the middle. Did you see that, where the entire defense had cleared out? They had all been in zone coverage, dropping, and Chip just came underneath them, caught that pass in stride, and went for 19 yards. He continued up the right sideline. Fleming, 6 targets, 1 catch. Now he was being anally raped throughout the game, so
He was.
tough to make a catch like that. No, Vaseline or not. X-Man,
I like Fleming.
2
I like
targets.
Fleming's attitude though. I feel like he's out there working the whole time.
Oh, he's the best perimeter blocker we got. He's the only one, actually. He puts in the effort. Other guys are more of a liability.
No, I would say
X-Man-
Marv's above average. I would say he's an above average receiver
Okay.
blocking.
Okay.
The efforts there, but you're right. By far, hands down, Fleming is utilized the best. And most of those passes, he's up in the air. A guy has got his hand right in Fleming's 2 hands. I mean, everything was contested with him. Now, is that him not being able to get the separation he needs, or are these guys just holding on without getting the calls against them? You know what I mean? But everything, Fleming.
He's not dropping balls that are hitting his hands and
the first play of the Purdue game he did. But yeah, typically Fleming does not have a large number of drops. What else? We talked about the pass blocking, run blocking. I did want to mention, Hinsman pass blocking a 46-7. That's horrific. Allowed 2 pressures. Josh Simmons, both tackles were terrible. I'm talking Simmons, left tackle is a 56-3. Josh Fryer is 61. Fryer allowed a sack. Simmons allowed a couple pressures.
They had like 9 tackles for loss on us.
Did they?
Yeah.
I believe it. The guards, Donovan Jackson and Matthew Jones, were the best on the team. 87-3 in pass blocking.
Well, that's where we knew we'd kind of shine, right? Because that's the one spot if Penn State was weak was the interior D line.
Right.
So I would figure those guys would do a little better.
Yeah, and to that point, I understand that Simmons and Fryer were going against, like All-American DNs till Chop got chopped. But still, even after those guys, after Chop Robinson went out, they still were allowing some pressures, man. Run blocking, nightmarish. Again, I just said Donovan Jackson and Matthew Jones were the 2 best on the team in pass blocking. Yeah, they were 2 of the worst in run blocking. 55-7, 52-3. Hinsman, bad at both. Here with a 50. Puke in my shoe. Anyways, let's talk defense. Let's brighten it up before we get into next week's game. Defense was lights out. Let me go back to my
no complaints here, Bob.
No.
Yeah. They did allow 160 yards in the first half. I was kind of surprised at that. 70 yards rushing, 91 through the air. But 0 for 7 on third downs in the first half. So go ahead. This don't call it a bend but don't break defense around Jim Knowles, but that's exactly what it is. Is working. It's fucking working.
I don't care how many yards we give up. If it's field goal, mix in some punts, some field goals, we're fine. As long as they kept attempting field goals and punting the ball, I knew we were going to eventually score touchdowns. So I don't give a shit about the yardage, when it comes to that. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't even know where that narrative. It's just from last year, because you look at this year. Look, we're right in the thick of things in yards we give up per games, and we've played some teams already. Notre Dame, Penn State, Maryland. I think we got to shut down D. I don't think it's no bend don't break. Our D will shut you down, and we don't give up the yards. We're not giving up anything right now.
They've given up. They gave up a couple drives. A 6-play, 39-yard drive that ended in a field goal, a 7-play, 51-yard drive that ended in a field goal. But other than that, it's a 3-and-out punt to start the game, 4 plays punt, 4 plays punt, 3 plays punt, then a 6-play, 25-yard punt, 4-play punt, 3 plays punt, 3-play punt, 3-play punt, mix in the field goal drive I mentioned, the 2 of those. Then late in the fourth, a 4-play turn it over on downs, then a 8-play 3-yard drive, turn it over on downs, and then the TD drive, zebra aided 12 plays, 73 yards.
I don't know. Are you not going to call the face mask? The penalty, the late hit on the quarterback, maybe a little ticky tack, but Tyleek, come on, you didn't need to do that extra shove. It was above. Was it egregious? No. But, clean it up, guys. Those are stupid things that could, get a team back in the game.
And the face mask, if your hand touches a player's face mask, it's the penalty. It's supposed to be a penalty every time. Whether, it's.
And that was so light.
You could tackle a guy by the face mask or hit him with your one finger. It's still going to be a 15-yarder either way. I guess if you're going to grab a face mask, make it worth it. Because I don't know, but you got to call that.
Seriously, right? And if you're going to get it, because if you get one finger on there and move it at all, you might as well just rip him down by it. Same penalty, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is right. It's especially if it's but if you do it twice, that's you'll get ejected for your second non-sportsmanlike. They can rule it if it's egregious like that. They can rule it on sportsmanlike, and you can get kicked out after 2. But
I just really wish they'd move that to, I don't know. I bitched about it the old way too, I guess, when it was the 5.
Yeah, when it was the 5 and the 15. That's so. Now you just because you're giving the referee now more. You're giving him more control of trying to interpret. Was it? More times than not, it was hurting. It wasn't being called accurately. So I understand it being all one or nothing. But defense. I don't know. Even Joe, you said the 6-play, 39 yards. It resulted in a field goal. 6 plays, 39 yards. Give 3 points. I think that's great defense. And in today's college football, I think that's still great defense. So no complaints about the D at all, really, except that the penalties on that last drive. That's it.
Right, and they should not have actually. I think they should not have been out there for that drive. I think when the Buckeyes had the ball with the last drive of not the actual last drive where they kneeled down, the drive before the Penn State touchdown drive so it's like 3 minutes on the clock. was it, 241 when they attempted the field goal that they missed, of course. And special teams, little note, remind me to talk about special teams here in a sec. They should have been running the ball. I think there was a pass in there that went incomplete that stopped the clock. They should have been running that ball 3 times at least, maybe 4, and just spun clock. So the defense actually should not have been on the field for that touchdown drive. My opinion.
Proper clock management. You're right, Joe. If we would have controlled the clock like you like we had the capability of doing,
I think they still would have been
right.
out there, but the game would have been over. There would have been no chance for them to do anything else. That would have been like, okay, it's done. Even if they would have went down there and done that.
Yeah, they would have been throwing 4 verts, chuck it deep.
And that could have got us, that could have got us our turnover, our interception, right.
Their fans might have enjoyed that. Just chuck it deep. That's what that reporter asked him last week, right?
Just for the sake of doing it.
Just for the sake of doing it, yeah. You're getting smoked. Anyway, so special teams. I think Jesse Mirko, he did have a shitty punt. But that 70-yard punt that their returner failed to catch at least was fucking huge. That flipped the field. And we were, that was a 1-score game at that point. We were deep in our own territory. We just had the 2 back-to-back penalties on offense, So we were kind of.
Their D destroyed us on that drive. That D absolutely destroyed us on that drive.
I don't know why that returner. I mean, I know he's only second game. This is his second game returning kicks, so he's inexperienced. He's a defensive back.
That has to happen. You have to catch that ball. I mean, he's gonna get his ass chewed on the film room. I know that was one of the biggest plays of the game. I thought I stood up. I was clapping as much for that as I was that touchdown we scored, because I mean, we needed that flip the field because they were starting to get some momentum. That could have been a huge swing if they would have had ball at the 50. They could have been setting up shop at the 50-yard line with momentum, taking the crowd out of it.
25-30-yard difference, man.
Yeah.
And if he catches, maybe he would have got smoked, but that dude's a good returner too. I mean, he returned one earlier for like 20+ yards.
Yeah, had 2 touchdowns last week.
Right.
So, yeah, so that was a huge play. Just wanted to point that out. And then again, ask the question, why do we have a full-time special teams coach? Anyway.
If we're not, and we're never.
I'm not trying to
one more thing.
The laryngitis.
Well, our return guy kind of messed it up too. So
yeah. Well, that took a really crazy hop. That's the thing with Emeka's injury. It brings Ballard in, who maybe doesn't have the communication down of what you're supposed to do when a blocker is near the ball. It took a crazy hop, like backwards, and spun right into Lorenzo Styles Jr. So
I thought
it is his fault. It's on.
It was Fleming's hand.
No, it was not Fleming. He's not in on punt. It was Lorenzo Styles Jr.
Okay. Okay. That's okay. That's it. Then that's it. I don't blame him at all. I find no blame in Styles. Then Ballard's either got to come up and catch that ball because that's your job as a punt returner. Get to the ball and catch it.
That would have
call fire, and then
or the communication.
Then they'll turn around and pay attention to where it's at and get the hell out of there. So it doesn't.
I give no blame to the guy that had the ball bounce off his wrist. You know what I mean? That ball can be caught. He could have came up and fair caught that ball. You're right with the communication, but why is Ballard our second best option at returning punts? He's a deep threat. Everybody says he's a great deep ball
guy. He's got a ton of experience.
I don't think he's not. I don't know. We don't see anything from any of our punt returners since Jalen Marshall. You know what I mean? Like, we don't see anything. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know why we're wasting time.
That's a bigger topic. That's like a full show right there. And then we could talk about why Parker Fleming makes $500,000 a year, things like that. So, anyways, anything else on the game you want to cover that we missed before we get into some whiskey?
Well, just I mean, my MVPs. I was looking at JT.
Oh yeah, we probably should do our grades and MVPs.
He absolutely had a game again at Penn State. And that sack, I almost called it, and it wasn't walk off, but I said push the running back into the Penn State quarterback like Bosa did. He pushed that left tackle in. Kenyatta, I think, got credit for that sack. That was JT that pushed the left tackle into LR. He was a beast. And then the tip pass on the one play JT had himself a game.
Excellent point. So JT is one of your MVPs. I did want to point out while we're talking pass rush, Olu Fashanu, the future NFL draft pick, first rounder. Yeah, he graded out a 61.6 in pass blocking. Allowed 4 pressures. That's not good.
Well, he's going against the top 10 NFL pick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think JT
run blocking, right. He was a 60.5. So mediocre. He was just another guy, according to these grades.
I remember hearing you talk the grades of that Joe Alt from Notre Dame had much better grades against us. And JT didn't have nearly the game. Now he made that key play at the end, but he didn't have nearly as much of an impact throughout the game as he did yesterday. Mm-hmm. But yeah, JT's it shows what he can do to wreck a game. He can wreck a game just like Chase Young could wreck a game, or Nick or Joey Bosa. There's games we don't see it at all. And then there's games where he flashes against some of the best, opponents. So hopefully there's just more and more of that consistently, because he's a game wrecker. And then you switching out Jack with Kenyatta and Curry on the other end. Between I think the more of a rotation between the three of them, you get the best out of all of them. I think with JT, anchoring down the other side.
Right. So let's get our grades in here. Shawn already got one of his MVPs. We could just do our MVPs first. Jeff, what do you got? Since Shawn went defense first, you go defense first.
Defensive MVP?
Yeah.
Ooh. If he took JT, I'm going to have to go. Let me go Josh Proctor.
Oh, okay.
I saw Proctor. I saw him come up filling in run support. I could have picked 5 different defensive backs that I saw knocking passes down, covering dudes like Blanket. But I think Proctor he's putting game after good game together. He's really coming on. So I just to pick one of the safeties, I picked Proctor.
Okay. Hey, folks in the chat, I'm watching your
there
comments. Please hit us with your MVPs for the Penn State game, offense and defense, one guy, and give us your grades, A, B, C, D, a letter grade for offense and defense. This is an easy one for me. Jordan Hancock had a hell of a game. I mean, it might not show through on paper, but he had a couple PBUs, making tackles, coming up in run support. He slashed through that hole in, I believe it was a 3rd down in the first half, came through, knifed in, and took the running back down before he even got to the line of scrimmage. So huge plays by Hancock. And without a Denzel Burke, Hancock was in there for virtually every snap.
So he flashed a lot. I mean, Ransom flashed a lot. Any of those 3 I had in my mind, any of those 3 defensive backs. But yeah, you're right. Great.
I gotta say,
and replacement.
You could go MVP on anybody on that defense. Frankly, it's our best defensive game easily, in my opinion.
Yeah, Sonny had a sack in a TFL.
Everybody showed out.
Kenyatta sack TFL. Yeah,
even Eichelberry.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Eichelberry according to the Peacock broadcasters.
these guys are sweet.
But yeah. I mean,
all right,
yeah,
offense.
you're right.
Let's
They
go
all play
offense MVPs before we get into some whiskey.
great. Who wants to go
Shawn,
first?
let's
'Cause
circle back to Shawn.
I don't know. Jeff, you go first. I don't want to take the obvious easy one. I feel like you always get screwed. I get the best. Go ahead.
I mean, I think we can all agree that that Marvin Harrison Jr. is the MVP, offensive MVP of the game.
Right.
We knew that if you keep throwing it to the best player in the country, I think it worked. It was, good things happened. We fed him the ball like we should have. And
Dude,
we
how
didn't
does
have
Penn
there wasn't
State
much
get worked that badly 2 years in a row? Wow.
Yeah, like, hey, we got to throw to Marv, and we just kept throwing to him, and he kept being open against pro defensive backs.
Marv and
Every
JT. The same
Exactly.
dude.
Same. Yeah.
yeah. And
Go ahead.
and both
Yeah.
of those guys that they're going head to head with are all pros. First round draft picks last year for both of them. First round draft picks they're going against this year, and they both produced. It's obvious. I don't think there's not another choice on offense. Maybe one other, but Marv had a game.
All right. Shawn, you got somebody picked out that is not Marv?
Yeah, I'll go just with that. I'll go with Mayan.
Okay.
Just for a couple of those hard runs that he got that kept it going for us. He had nothing to run behind, but I feel like he was running hard. So I'll leave you the other easy. I don't know. Actually, there's two other guys I think you can go with, but I'm gonna go with mine just for the effort and again a couple big first downs that kept drives going for us that we needed. And the line wasn't. He had to do it by himself pretty much. The line wasn't helping.
Okay. I got to take Kyle. As much as people want to bang on him for having a bad second quarter, he actually finished strong in the second half, So I got to go Kyle. Fourth quarter, especially 5 of 7 and a touchdown, 92 yards passing, moved the team down the field, got the job done, sealed the win, and made it a 2-score game until that last trumped up Penn State drive. So Kyle from me. Quick. Let's do grades. Shawn, you go ahead and go offense, defense for me.
I'll go B on offense. The running game is a concern, but just to do that, to basically almost not quite, but to almost double up what the average Penn State's been giving up in yardage per game.
Yeah.
So no turnovers, other than the punt thing, but that wasn't on the offense. So, they did what they had to do, protected the ball and ground, it was a grind, tough day, and they hung in there and got it done. So I give them a B. If that was the effort against anybody else, they would be a C for sure, or worse.
All right, Jeff, what do you got? I'm sorry, Shawn. Go ahead and give me your defense as well.
The A+. That's great all around thing done.
You think we were overestimating Penn State's offense? This is just a real question.
I think we fully knew their running game was worth being concerned about.
Yeah.
We might have been over. I think if we found out real quick that if we were overestimating their passing game, well, I think our defensive staff realized real quick we don't need to. They're not who we thought they were in the passing game, but the running game is legitimate. And we just played a great performance against them to limit them.
Okay, I was just curious because obviously the passing game was never a threat, and seemed like they got fat and happy and kind of some fool's gold, in my opinion, against their weak schedule thus far. But just wanted to ask that question. So Jeff, give me your offense and defense grades.
Offense B, did solid B, 84%. Did what we needed to do when we needed to do it. Nothing too flashy. Not outstanding by any means, but efficient, solid. Defense, A plus, aced it. Like we knew the answers to the test.
All right, I'm gonna go B plus on offense. I think going against All-American defensive ends was a challenge for our tackles, and the grades reflect that they did not completely answer the challenge, but we got the job done, got the win, made the plays when we had to. They moved guys off the ball at times. You know, if you're not looking at grades and stats and all that shit, they actually were able to move guys, but not consistently all day long, which again, All-American DNs and shit. But we talked about the middle of that D line being soft, just like the Penn State O line being soft. And that's where we took advantage, really. Passing game, I don't know who's going to stop Marvin Harrison Jr. If you're not going to double him all day long, best of luck. I don't know what to tell you. Might want to go back and rethink that. Mario Diaz.
We've seen every other team. Every other team is bracketing him, doubling him, you know, guy over top, guy deep, mugging him off the line. Every other team has done it.
They kept the safety deep most of the day against the deep shots, but they were not bracketing him much. I mean,
no, they were letting him work in the middle. Everything in the middle was there.
Over the middle and short, and he would take it. 3 yards.
And he can kill you. He can kill you after the catch too. That's what makes him great. It doesn't have to be back shoulder fades. He can do it any way you want him. Any way you give it to him, he'll take it.
Right. I imagine this Marv kind of game plan and number of passes, like 15 targets a game, is what we would have seen from JSN last year had he not gotten hurt. You know, same type of usage, putting him in motion, bringing him out on wheel routes and drags and all that shit. I mean, so many things. Anyway, so I got B plus on offense, and obviously you got to go A plus on defense. I don't know if you can find a fault with this defense at all. I mean, even corners are coming up and making tackles in the backfield and run support.
The only thing was no turnovers. I mean, that's the only thing you could say. But they didn't turn up. They didn't turn them over.
4 sacks. We got 4 sacks. The sack numbers are coming around eventually.
I'm perfectly fine. You play that well on defense. You don't need to turn the ball over. You don't need to force turnovers if you're playing that well.
Right.
You know, consistently solid. So I mean, but that's the only knock that somebody could say. Well, we didn't force a turnover. Well, you didn't need to. You kept them out. You kept them from scoring. You know,
they were 1 for 16 on third down, I think.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you go 1 for 16, you don't need to force turnovers. When you start giving up points, that's when you need to start winning possessions back. If you're giving up touchdowns, then you need to, you know, if you're gonna give up touchdown, you gotta get a turnover to get back to even. If you get 1 for 16, you don't have to force a turnover. We're getting the ball anyway.
We talked about it at the top of the show that that was their conversion in the last drive of the game, and the same with the fourth. They converted 1 4th down. That was the last drive of the game. So going 0 for the game basically on thirds and fourths. That's great defense in my opinion, and I don't think it's fair for people to say that a bend but don't break defense is a negative, because I don't think that is. We got by pretty well in the 2000s with that.
Again, I just don't agree with the premise. I don't think it's bend. I think our defense is shut down.
Okay.
Where's the bend? I mean, hold these guys to 240 yards, a 7th ranked team. That's shutting them down.
Yeah, and us on this podcast may have thought that their schedule was a little light, and maybe they weren't as good as what they were looking. But the national media and the hype, nobody was giving Penn State some doubt of whether or not they're legit or not. Everybody was hyping them up. They got fucking pros everywhere. They got the defense that can put this offense in trouble. You know what I mean? They were hyping everybody was hyping Penn State up.
Like between the guys on Fox's show when they picked it, I think half of them were Penn State straight up.
Yeah, that's right. And I saw some articles around saying the Ohio State secondary was not great at all, was mediocre.
What?
Yeah. Obviously,
people that don't know how to watch football.
or right words.
Well, Penn State's not the right team to exploit them. If we're shitty, if we're shaky at best, Penn State's not exactly the team that's going to test us. We'll find out how good, hype bullshit to all this talk. We'll play Michigan. The game's scheduled. Except for God intervening, this game's going to get played. We're going to find out how good our defensive backs are. We're going to be able to show the country how good they are. They're going to have that test, to take. So they can talk shit all they want.
Pick Penn State in that game.
No, he picked Ohio State, surprisingly, because they had the ESPN's game day on pregame at the bar we were at.
That's because Stroud was at the table, and he's probably tired of being a dick to him.
Should have choked that fucker out right on the set. All right, so let's get into this Wisconsin game. I think we covered everything on the Penn State game. 7:30 Saturday night, so I don't know why this has to be a night game. But anyways, it's on NBC, so check your local listings and all that. Camp Randall Stadium in Madtown. Buckeyes have won 9 straight going back to 2010. Excuse me, miss. Yes, 2010 is what I got.
Is that when Fickle coached us?
That was 2011. Braxton as a freshman hit Devin Brown. That was 2011.
Right.
But I can't remember. That might have been in Columbus then, actually.
No, this was in Madison. We won in Columbus in 2011.
Okay, yeah, okay. 2011 was Braxton's Hail Mary. But yeah, 2010. But I remember when Terrell Pryor in 08, we were number 2 in the country, and JJ Watt made a name for himself, and we lost to Camp Randall at night in 08. Remember that game more than I remember 2010.
20-17 we lost. All right, so head coach Luke Fickell, we know him well. First season with the Badgers. These guys started off
like Wisconsin.
Supposed to what?
Czechoslovakia. It's like fucking Wisconsin.
Right.
I got the shit kicked out
in Wisconsin. All right. They're 5-2 right now. We're looking at 3-1 in the Big Ten. They haven't really played anybody other than Iowa and Illinois in the Big Ten. They played Rutgers, beat them, beat Purdue at Purdue. Georgia Southern doesn't count. Washington State lost to them 31-22. They beat Buffalo week 1. So kind of working backwards there. At Illinois, they beat them last week 25-21. But these guys lost Tanner Mordecai a couple weeks ago, their starting quarterback. Now you're looking at some dude named Braden Locke. There's a broken hand, by the way, broken hand for Mordecai. I thought I said wrist earlier. Braden Locke, 6 foot, 200 pounds from Rockwall, Texas. That's Jackson Smith and Jigba's neck of the nape. What is this guy? He's a freshman. So super young, inexperienced, obviously. You know the drill. Jim Knowles is going to heat him up nicely, I'm sure. Returning production, though, they are returning 72% of their overall production, 75% on offense, 68% on defense. 10 starters back on offense. Going to their national stats here, I wanted to run through how they're doing nationally. This is yards per game. They're 56 in the country of 395. Then rushing yards per game, 179. That's 31st in the country. So not a big change there with the typical Badger offense that we've seen in the past. Passing yards, 216 per game. But again, most of these are on the back of Tanner Mordecai. That 216 is 80th in the country. What's this? Yards per game. We already talked about that. Then points per game, they are 61st in the country, 27 points a game. And I did want to check sacks per game. They're 28th in the country, allowing 1.4 sacks per game. So pretty good blocking up front in the passing game. But again, this is still Wisconsin, and they're going to run the ball and probably run it pretty well. Average, that's yards per rush attempt, 4.8. That's 28th in the country. So they're, almost getting 5 yards per carry or per attempt. So same thing. Offensively, what do you guys think? Anything? I do want to check the third down conversions before we get away. Anything stand out to you guys?
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Yeah. 6.6 third down conversions per game. That doesn't sound good. But that is 19th in the country. All right.
What did they play against quality defenses? What did they do against Iowa? Iowa locked them up.
Would Iowa beat them 10-6 or something like that?
It was ugly.
15-6. Yeah. It was ugly.
New philosophy on their offense, different schemes than what they've ran forever. More of that spread. There's a spread offense, but more, it's still a power run game, similar to how Urban would run the spread. They got good running backs. We know the one kid, but the quarterback, they don't have. Yeah, they just don't have the talent is not there. Pickle will get them right, but not yet.
It looks like it's going to take some more time to flip that roster over, especially since the guy is out. Against Illinois last week, they put up 379 yards, but Illinois' defense is not the same as it used to be, and their offense is not great. So I don't know if that's a true good comparison. Quarterback Braden Locke went for, against Iowa, he was 15 of 30, so 50%, 122, had a pick, no touchdowns, took a sack. 3 carries -1. That includes a sack, of course. So, yeah, this offense is not going anywhere, man. If they can't run the ball, this is a big problem for them, and I don't see how they can. Against Iowa, they ran for 104. So, yeah,
it's going to be more just like it's going to be like the Indiana, the Notre Dame. They're going to be huddling up, eating clock, trying to run the ball.
Right.
Possession, limit our offensive possessions. If we stop the run and then get after the freshmen, that's what we need to do. I mean, we got to be able to just shut down the run. If they're getting any kind of momentum with the run game, that's their only hope. So we know that they're not going to come out. The kid's not going to come out slinging the ball on us. We know that. Right. They barely squeaked by in Illinois. That was a dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
And Illinois is Jekyll and Hyde, very at the best.
Well, I'm just looking at that game, and Wisconsin's D is giving up 5 yards a carry on that too. Gave up 200 plus yards on the ground against Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't good. That's not Wisconsin football. I mean, the only way Wisconsin has a chance in this game is, they got to throw us in the back alley and get in a mosh pit fight with us. That's a dirty, nasty Iowa type game. It's the only chance they've got. Their offense isn't going to do much. Even if they do get lucky and bust off a big play or something, there's no way they're going to be able to maintain long drives. No way.
So you're saying they need to jump around?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, no, it is.
I'm watching the highlights. I'm seeing highlights right now.
Jinxing
it. They had an offensive tackle score their one of their touchdowns. They got a trick play, tackle eligible.
More things change, more they stay the same.
Yeah. Their hope is get for us to make mistakes, penalties, turnovers, and they try to possess the ball 2/3 of it.
Braylon Allen's got 700 yards and 8 touchdowns, though, a 6-yard average.
He's a good back. He's a good back. I mean, so that's what they're gonna lean on. They're gonna have to lean on that.
Didn't they lose Cheese Malusi too? They lost him to an injury. Maybe not.
I haven't heard his name this year at all of doing anything.
Yeah, Malusi.
I hate cheese.
Fractured fibula a month ago. especially with a fractured fibula, right? All right, let's talk about the defense then. I think we covered the offense as deeply as we need to. Opponents' points per game, they're only allowing 18.3 points per game. That's 17th in the country. Not sure they've faced an offense yet, but anyway, yards per game, they're allowing 333. That's 28th in the country. Then passing yards per game, rushing yards are allowing 136.6. That's 52nd. Passing yards per game, 196.9, 29th in the country. Opponent completion percentage, 58%. That's 36th in the country. And then third down conversion percentage, 36%. That's 42nd in the country. So they're a little bit better than I expected, honestly, on defense. But I should know better with Luke Fickell at the helm. You know, he's going to at least get guys playing well. Might not be the quality players that he wants necessarily, but
that's not Wisconsin's. That's not the defensive numbers that Wisconsin has had traditionally, though.
Right. It's better.
And look at the offenses that they've played. You know what I mean? Rutgers, Illinois, Iowa, Washington State is by far the best team they played, and they really had no shot against Washington State. You know, their stats have greatly increased after that match.
Exactly.
Georgia Southern. I mean, he's sprinkling some bullshit there. They're not. They're not the typical Wisconsin defense. Still above average, of course. You know, they're coached great, but he needs to get more of his players in there, and good luck doing that.
Right. All right, so let's get into our score predictions and our microscopes for this Wisconsin game. Buckeyes favored by 14 going into Madison at a night game. You know, it's going to be a little crazy. All these students are going to be loaded up on some Labatt's or whatever, Heineken. Over under of 45.5. Let's start with
spotted cows, what they like to drink up there in Wisconsin. It's a local thing.
Oh, besides the tipping.
Yeah.
All right. Shawn, since you got the intel on the local drinkeries, what do you got for your score prediction? Buckeyes by 14.
Buckeyes by 14. You're talking
I do need to check the weather. Sorry, I forgot to check that beforehand because that could matter. I saw
Camp Randall on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Sounds like a beginning of a country song.
I hope it's a sad country song. It's the environment's a little bit tricky. I feel we're coming off huge win. I think just a huge relief for our whole program, right? I mean, that Penn State win, just can't overstate that. And now do you come down and go into Camp Randall and the hype in that environment that's so good and so tough to play in. On top of that, the personal thing that Fickell's going to have going into this, these boys will be ready to play. I have no doubt about that. And I think they could come out hot. I don't know if they'd be able to sustain it on us, but I look for us to maybe let down a little bit traveling after this game. I'm going to go Buckeyes 35-10.
Oh, wow. All right. 35-10. So checking the weather here, I got a forecast of a high of 46, a low of 32. So since this is a night game, I expect something in the 30s. 11% chance of rain. Wind 8 miles an hour. So nothing that really matters, at least in the passing game. So all this moisture coming up. Oh shit! Just knocked my microphone over. All this moisture coming up out of the south, it's going to push on to the east. Anyway,
that's what she said.
All right.
Hey. So you said low chance of rain. You said what, 7%? Is that what you said?
11, yeah. 8
11,
mile an
okay.
hour winds. high 30s.
It-
So running game is going to be
crisp.
key.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're not going to be whipping it around a lot, I don't think.
These are northern boys. Kyle McCord's, he's from the north. He's played in this stuff.
Oh, do you know
You got
that his teammate in high school was Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Oh, really? Where are they from?
Oh, a little town called Philadelphia.
They had to drive past Penn State's campus to get to our campus. I heard that too.
Yeah. Oh, and Drew Aller is from Ohio, plays for Penn State. Kyle McCord from South Jersey, or Philadelphia, as it may be known as, plays at Ohio State. So a little quarterback switcheroo. I could do a graphic. Fox did it much better than I could, of course. Anyways, enough banging on the network, guys. Jeff, score prediction. Buckeyes by 14.
27-10.
27-10. All right. Low scoring affairish.
Undercover.
Get in
Undercover.
I think. All right. I like it. Perfect. Under. Okay. I'm kind of in that same boat. I think the Buckeyes are coming in maybe a little sore from this past weekend, but it is a home game and weird things like to happen in Madison. I'm going 24-13. Never closer than the score would indicate, but low scoring affair. Buckeyes don't like the cold weather and they want to get in and out and back to their warm, cozy Maserati beds. Let's go microscopes. Shawn. Yep, there you go. Shawn, what do you got on offense for your microscope?
Offense. I mean, I really want to pick Trey or Amuka, but can I? I mean,
Sure.
Are these guys going to play this week? I will actually, I'll go with Emeka. I think Fickle is going to completely sell out to try and do something about Harrison. He knows what a problem he is. I think if Emeka's back in this lineup, that Emeka becomes that safety valve, does a lot of those drag routes and stuff that Marv was running this week. I feel across the middle there and opening up, and those 6-7 yard passes, and then you go do something with them. So I think Emeka is going to make some hay if he's on the field. If not Emeka, I'll go like / Tate. But I think who's ever playing that spot's going to be huge for us this week.
Right. Jeff, what do you got on offense?
Well, after going with Emeka last week, thinking that they were going to shut down Marv and make somebody else make a play, I thought Igbuku, we would need him coming off the injury. I thought for sure he would be ready. They didn't make it sound like it was a major injury. So I'm not going with him or Trey because at this point neither one of them are dependable. So I'm gonna go with Chip Trainum. I think we need Chip. I think we need Chip's power run game. So a little more explosive than Mayan. We're gonna need to run the ball. I can't keep targeting all 5 linemen, but our run game in general has to start showing some life, some above average. Let's get to above average. We're subpar right now. So I'll put it on the running back, the guy with the ball in his hand. I think Chip's going to be the guy this week.
Chipper.
I know. Remember when we had teams where we could run for like 250 yards a game, like whenever we wanted?
We did it. We did it a lot with a lot of different guys, with a lot of different offenses.
Right. Let's see. Offense. I'll stick with my guy Kyle. I think I've become the Kyle defender on this show just by default. It's on Kyle. Pretty easy. Starting quarterback. Why wouldn't you take the starting quarterback? All right. Don't go anywhere, folks. Hey, and make sure you hit that like button on the way out. We only have 9 likes. We have over 100 people in here, and we only have 9 likes. Come on, man. Don't forget, get your scores in. You got until
Let's go,
Friday.
folks. Let's go. Get
your
Come on.
scores in for the t-shirt contest. I'm going to announce the winner of this week's t-shirt contest as soon as we're done with these microscopes. Shawn, let's go back to you for defense.
Defense. I don't want to jinx it. And on my JT, I want to see my boy Sonny Styles just go off and have a Sonny Styles. I feel like this is the right environment. Mosh pit up in Madison, and I think Sonny's going to do some damage this week.
Okay.
I like that,
Jeff?
Shawn. I like that. Big breakout game for Sonny. I like that. Kind of flash onto the scene. I'm gonna stick with my defensive microscope. Tommy Eichenberg. Power. They're gonna be running the ball, man. Eichenberg.
Huh?
Get everybody lined up. Get them in the right spots. Don't get sealed off by the guard coming up to the second level, opening a big hole like he did against Singleton a couple times.
Yeah,
Just
don't line
one
up
wrong
in the wrong spot.
One wrong
Or move
step,
yourself.
one wrong step into the wrong hole, gets sealed off. He doesn't even have to get blocked. That dude just has to be in between him and the running back. You just can't give away that first step. Make the right reads. Eichenberg, ton of tackles. Braylon Allen mirroring him all night.
Okay, very good. I'm going with Tyleek Williams. You could say if you look on paper at the stats and pressures and all that shit, Tyleek didn't really show up much. But if you watch the game, he actually was in the backfield quite often, forcing some early throws, maybe not getting a hit on the quarterback, but he was affecting the game. And this week, I look for him to affect that run game of Wisconsin's. And that's all they have to hang their hat on. It's pretty obvious. So Tyleek is going to be key. He's playing virtually complete games, like entire games. He's not sitting out much at all. Ty Hamilton is mixing in there with Mike Hall. So they're spelling each other a bit, but Tyleek is playing a ton, and he's going for that NFL paycheck. And this is his contract year. I've been saying it every week. So Tyleek's my guy again this week. So let's announce this week's winner of the t-shirt giveaway for close to correctly answering or predicting the score from this week's Penn State game. Odysseus 2002. He was closest with the 17-14 prediction. That's 31 points. Nobody else was even really close at all. That was the lowest we had. So obviously the final score was 32. Odysseus wins. So Odysseus, hit me up. I need to know. Go to thebuckeyecast.com, pick out your shirt, t-shirt. Got to reiterate that sometimes. Or hat. Let me know the name, color, size, where you want it sent. Pretty simple. So I'll look for a message from you on the YouTube comments, and we'll get it taken care of, get that sent out. All right. Don't forget, folks, get your scores in for next week's Wisconsin game. You could be our next winner. Get it in by Friday. We do the live shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can comment on any of the videos throughout the week. You got, your daily blitz coming Monday, Wednesday, or Monday through Friday and all that. So get your scores in, and we'll give away another shirt or a hat. Jeff, Shawn, anything else you want to bounce on out of here?
You said something about whiskey earlier?
Yeah.
You got some?
We covered that.
Oh, well, this is the one game when we did our preseason score predictions for the whole season.
Yeah.
This was the only L that I had on their schedule at 20-24. I'm not jinxing it. Again, I've changed my thought process on that, but I thought the way this game fell, this was a trap game. I still a little bit feel that way.
Ooh. Okay.
But Ryan Day doesn't lose trap games. Ryan Day will lose big games, but he don't lose trap games yet.
I think this Wisconsin team probably makes it a little easier, right? With losing their starting quarterback,
and just overall
not really playing great at all. Yeah.
Not performing. That first loss against Washington State, I think it just kind of killed their mojo. This was one game I was concerned about this game too, probably more than the Notre Dame game, because it's fucking Camp Randall at night, and we've seen them come out of nowhere when we're way over, they're way overmatched against us. Like in 08, turnovers, they get pressure on a quarterback makes some turnovers. Shit can get crazy there in Madison. But yeah, I'm definitely there's not an upset coming. I mean, it would have to be a total meltdown on our part. And a couple of injuries, maybe some really, really horrible penalties. They give up big
36
plays,
degrees, you drop a ball, some
yeah.
bad bounces.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to be multiple of those. We can overcome a couple, but and they'd have to be. I can't see that. There's too much disparity in talent and
Well, they're gonna have to be
confidence.
huge plays, like a 70-yard touchdown, and then like a pick six or a scoop and
Yeah.
score for them, like some big plays.
Multiple of those kind of plays happening. I just don't see it.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, folks. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Chat was lively. I'm going to get your scores copied down, and we appreciate all the comments and everything. Again, please be sure to hit the like button on the way out the door as you stumble through. Don't forget, leave your bottles and your glasses at the bar. You can't take those home, folks. Those are not collector's items. So hit the like button. Thank you very much. Make sure you're subscribed, please, and thank you. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Go Bucks. Jeff, Shawn, appreciate you.
Sir.
Later, brother. Good seeing you.